Welcome in to the latest episode of Betting the Pitch with your host, Real_G Warner. I'm going to be going through the top 5 European soccer leagues in a briefer version because I don't have as much time today. But I'm the Real_G Warner, Instagram, Patreon, Twitter, and on YouTube. Please hit a follow, subscribe, slide in the DMs wherever you can. And we're going to go into this and go very quickly because, as I said, I have limited time. Hopefully, I am able to navigate this whole time. I have no idea if that's actually going to occur. But thank you all for joining anyway on this Friday morning, April 19th, here in the United States. And let's start in the English Premier League. That's where the money is. I will be going through each of the top 5 European soccer leagues, coming up with the best bet for each of the leagues. We'll start on Saturday with Luton Town hosting Brentford in the English Premier League. We got Luton Town, a quarter goal underdog at home. All the juice on Brentford on the road. Over under is 3. Juiced more to the over than to the under. And I can't really understand why Brentford are a favorite away from home. Luton Town have plenty of problems, yes, but they are a really good team at scoring goals. I think over is probably the better lean than the under, which is tough for me because I'm an over player, or excuse me, I'm an underdog player. But my biggest interest right now is very clearly to Luton Town. So I'll put them on my list at Luton Town plus 1/4 of a goal. Move next to Sheffield United hosting Burnley. Sheffield United a pick'em at home. All the juice on Burnley on the road. Over under is 2 3/4. Juice more to over than to under. This is a big battle at the bottom of the English Premier League table. Now, the interesting part here is that Burnley have been showing some signs of life lately, while Sheffield United have not. I think I'm waiting for Sheffield United to hit a quarter of a goal underdog. I don't really expect a lot of goals in this matchup, so my biggest interest is under 2 3/4 there. Though that's a very scary thing to take on with Sheffield United. Wolves host Arsenal. Wolves of 1.5 goal underdog at home with almost all the juice. Over under 3 with all the juice to under. Wolves are a defensive side. They scored a bunch of goals behind Matheus Cunha, who came back last weekend, and seems like they are a lot healthier offensively. So that's a big deal. Do I trust them to do that against Arsenal? Probably not. They're going to sit in a very defensive type of formation. And who knows what's going on in Arsenal right now after their awful loss in the Premier League and then getting knocked out of the Champions League. It was not a great week for them. I imagine there's a response here from Arsenal in the good direction, but Wolves are very capable defensively. So give me Wolves plus 1.5 and under 3. I think are my 2 leans there, correlated, of course. Moving to Sunday, Everton hosts Nottingham Forest. Currently, Everton a half a goal favorite at home. With all the juice on Nottingham Forest on the road. Over unders 2.5, juice all the way to over. Everton should respond to a really embarrassing loss, 6-0, I believe it was, at Chelsea. Nottingham Forest have been these are 2 teams fighting relegation, both with points deductions on their card or tally. I think Nottingham Forest is the way you have to look, just based on going on the road, getting a draw being enough. Everton, to me, they have big goal scoring problems. Those have not really been fixed. Defensively, they have issues as well, which makes me probably lean more towards Nottingham Forest than the under, but I think I like both of those on that list. Moving next to Aston Villa hosting Bournemouth. Currently, Aston Villa a half a goal favorite at home with all the juice. Over under is 3.25, juice more to the over. This is a tough situation for them because they had to go to penalties, played extra time on the road at Lille in France, but won the penalty shootout because Emi Martinez is the king of France. I think Bournemouth have been getting a ton of credit, which I don't think their play really is deserved, and I don't necessarily like them going on the way to the villains, who I think will get a ton of energy boosted from their home crowd. Don't really know what to do. Good chance we see some rotation though for Aston Villa, though they're certainly fighting for a Champions League spot. I think under 3.25, since it's above that threshold of 3, is my biggest interest there. Crystal Palace hosts West Ham. Currently Palace a quarter goal favorite at home with all the juice. Over under is 2.75. Just a little bit more to under than to over. Palace, I think, they're playing better under Oliver Glasner. I still don't believe that they're really a goal-scoring side. They're good at home, of course, have a big crowd there, but West Ham, coming off their own European ventures, a home match with Bayer Leverkusen in the Europa League. I think West Ham is the better offense, so I'm interested there, getting that quarter of a goal. Certainly want to see what that all looks like, and if there's some rotation, I guess I lean to under 2 3/4. That's more of the Crystal Palace match and style of match, and I expect that's what they'll get at home. And last but not least, Fulham hosts Liverpool. Currently, Fulham a 1-goal underdog at home. More of the juice, almost all of it on Liverpool away. Over under is 3.25, juice all the way to over. Fulham have seemed like a beach team, a team that's really stuck in mid-table, doesn't have much to play for, and their performances have been all over the place lately. Hard to predict what they're going to be, but I guess I'm interested in them and in their +1 and under 3.25 at home, just based on Liverpool having to go to Bergamo in Italy for the Europa League and have to overturn a 3-0 deficit. Got an early penalty against Atalanta, and really went out for it. So I think it's a good setup for Fulham. Course, we'll see what it all looks like, what lineups look like, how, especially Liverpool after taking that awful loss at home to Crystal Palace last week for their title hopes. Not really sure exactly what's going to happen there. But for my best bet, I think I got to go with against Everton. So I'm going to go with Nottingham Forest, and I'll take that under 2.5. Just betting against Everton's goal scoring, and we'll move on from there to La Liga in Spain. Again, stick around. I'll have best bets end of show. Athletic Club Bilbao hosts Granada on Friday, April 19th today. Athletic Club a 1.5 goal favorite with more of the juice. Over-unders 2 3/4. Juice more to over than to under. Athletic Club, they somehow, I mean, they played a better game, I think, than I would have expected based on how poor they were, or coming off of their biggest Copa del Rey championship, or the biggest trophy in I think 40 years it was. Now they get one of the lowest ranked sides in La Liga, but it's going to be tough because Granada have been playing pretty well under like their 5th manager of the season or something like that. I think I'm less interested in taking Granada +1.5, as Villarreal are only a 1-goal underdog, which are far better of a club. But I like under 2 3/4 because I don't really believe in the Athletic Club Bilbao offense, and I think that there's a very good chance that Granada can probably get shut out on the road. Moving to Saturday, Celta de Vigo hosts Las Palmas. Currently Celta a 3/4 goal favorite at home. More juice than Las Palmas on the road. Over unders 2.25. Juice all the way to over. I'll be waiting to see this one tick higher. Las Palmas have not been playing well, but 3/4 of a goal is too big based on how they played this entire season. They've got some suspensions to worry about. Celta de Vigo, though, I just don't really trust. They had a pretty poor performance in the second half at Real Betis on Friday of last week. I think there's a good chance this one stays under as well. So like under 2.25 there. Rayo Vallecano hosts Osasuna. Currently Rayo a 1/4 goal favorite at home with a little bit more juice. Over under is 2 with a little bit more juice to under. Lean to the road team and to the under here. Rayo just haven't been able to score goals in a long time. Enter a new manager who is going to play that defensive brand that Andoni Iraola made famous, one of his assistants. I mean, it means just less goals, and so I don't like them as a favorite. So give me Osasuna again in that quarter, and I think I like under 2 even better than that. Valencia hosts Real Betis. Currently Valencia a 1/4 goal favorite at home with more of the juice. Over unders 2.25, and it's juiced very heavily to under. Real Betis, I mean, they had a great second half against Celta de Vigo last week after doing nothing for the first half. I expect that'll continue. I think there's too much credit in this line given to Real Betis. So I think my biggest interest here is under 2.25. Moving next to Girona hosting Cadiz. Currently Girona 1.25 goal favorite. More juice than Cadiz on the road. Over unders 2 3/4. Juiced all the way to over. Almost all the way to over. Girona have been really struggling. They took a lead at Atletico Madrid and still got blown out. The nice part is they faced Cadiz, who have not been able to score goals whatsoever. Played a really good match last weekend against Barcelona, but still lost 1-0. I think Cadiz are going to go and try to keep this as low scoring as possible. I think I'm more interested in under 2 3/4 than I am in the side. Moving to Sunday, Getafe hosts Real Sociedad. Currently Getafe a 1/4 goal underdog at home. All the juice on Real Sociedad on the road. Over unders 2, just all the way to under. I don't expect a lot of goals here. Real Sociedad with an awful late red card penalty. After falling behind, taking a lead, and it's just like same old story. Real Sociedad, what a disappointing season for them, despite how good they looked in Champions League. I think Getafe are the side I want here. They're going to use their physicality and make it really hard for Real Sociedad to score, which is already a problem. I like under 2 as well. Almeria then hosts Villarreal. Currently Almeria a 1/4 goal underdog at home. All the juice on Villarreal on the road. Over under is 3, juice all the way to under. Almeria have been playing okay this season, I think, despite being like the lowest win point total in the Spanish La Liga history, because it took them so long to win a match. They're still fighting. They're focused on next year, but got a really big draw. Stole that one on the road at Real Sociedad last weekend, and I think that's a good confidence boost, especially as one of their biggest crowds probably expected for one of their last matches in the top division, the Primera División in La Liga. Villarreal have not been scoring as well, but they're still the much better team. It feels like a very low price, so there's a lot of respect for Almeria here. I think I'll go with under 3 in that one as my best bet. Alaves then hosts Atletico Madrid. Currently Alaves a 1/2 goal underdog at home with almost all the juice. Over unders 2.25, juice more to the under than to the over. This is a big question for Atleti after they we're in great position to go through against Borussia Dortmund in the Champions League, and that fell apart. I think Alaves are have not been playing. Excuse me, Atletico Madrid are definitely the better side. Alaves have been really struggling to get 4 results despite their play looking good. For that reason, I like Alaves getting a half of a goal at home, and I like under 2.25. Not expecting the results all to turn around at once, but they're in a great position to catch Atleti in a tough spot. Real Madrid then hosts Barcelona. Currently, Real Madrid a half a goal favorite at home with almost all the juice. Over under is 3. Juice more to over than to under. I mean, going in completely opposite directions. Champions League, Barcelona falling at home with a lead to PSG. Real Madrid somehow stealing an advance on the road at Manchester against Manchester City. Huge spot for Real Madrid to also clinch their La Liga championship. So this should be a pretty big one. Barcelona, I think, withers under the pressure. But I imagine that Real Madrid probably will play the same type of style, let Barcelona have the ball. I think that will lower the scoring output. So give me under 3 in El Clasico. And last but not least, on Monday, we have Sevilla hosting Mallorca. Currently, Sevilla, half a goal favorite at home. All the juice on Mallorca on the road. Over under is 2, juice all the way to under. Sevilla, I think, are playing better, but still not playing very well. Give me Mallorca. I think under 2 is my biggest interest there, but I like the half of a goal as well. And for my best bet in Spain, I'm going to go with that El Clasico under 3 goals. I love the push on that one. We'll move now to Serie A in Italy. We have 2 matches on Friday. We'll start with Genoa, a quarter goal underdog at home to Lazio. Over under is 2.25. Juice all the way to under. And this one's moved a little bit. I think getting some Lazio money. I'm not sure that's really deserved. I like Genoa on this one, getting that quarter of a goal, and also like under 2.25 because I think it's a low scoring match that Lazio are going to really play the rest of the season as they have pretty much all season. Cagliari hosts Juventus in the nightcap on Friday. It looks like Cagliari a 3/4 goal underdog at home with all the juice. Over under is 2.25, just very heavily to under. Juve are I think probably focus on Coppa Italia more than anything else. Cagliari are great at finding goals late. It's basically the top of the table that find late goals, and Cagliari of weird, unexplainable type of things. 3/4 of goals is nice, but I think they're I guess I'm interested there. Love home dogs, so I'll put that on the list, but I think my biggest interest is under 2.25. Move next to Saturday morning. Empoli hosts Napoli. Empoli currently a 3/4 goal underdog at home. Over under is 2.75. Choose pretty heavily to under. Napoli are a team I want to be against as much as I can. Empoli have been playing very well. I think as a big home dog, that's what I want. Take that 3/4 of goal and also like under 2.75. I think their success is going to be keeping Napoli quiet. Verona hosts Udinese, the nightcap on Saturday. Verona a pick'em with all the juice. Over under 2.25. Juice pretty heavily to under. Verona have not been playing great all season, but they've been playing a big upturn ever since the January transfer window. I think this is a low scoring match. Udinese with that weird postponement last weekend. I'm not really sure what that does to the team, but I think under 2.25 is my biggest interest here. Not really interested in a pick'em on the road team on a side. Moving to Sunday, Sassuolo hosts Lecce. Currently Sassuolo a 1/4 goal favorite at home. More juice on Lecce on the road. Over under 2.5. Juice very heavily to under. Sassuolo are fighting relegation big time. They really choked up a win against Milan last weekend as I wear the kit. Unfortunately, it's not looking good for him. Lecce stole a win with incredible 2 fouls on a game-winning goal that were not reviewed and not called. But that's huge for Lecce and their confidence going on the road to Sassuolo. I think they're going to go, and they're the side I want here because Sassuolo are a really scary favorite at this point. I think I lean to under 2.5, but there's a lot of goals in Sassuolo matches. Part of the reason why they're in the relegation fight is their defense is so bad. Torino hosts Frosinone. Currently, Torino a 3/4 goal favorite with all the juice. Over under 2.5. Juice heavily to under. Torino are going to control the ball here, but they don't score very much with that. Frosinone, I don't think is trustworthy enough at this point. So I'll lean to under 2.5 there. Salernitana then hosts Fiorentina. Currently, Salernitana a 3/4 goal underdog at home. More juice on Fiorentina on the road. Over under 2.5. Juice all the way to over. Salernitana, they are in a weird or great position, I think, because they get to catch Fiorentina off of extra time advance in the Europa Conference League. But they've been so bad. I don't even think I can put under. I guess I'll put under on my list, but man, that's hard to even want to think about. Monza then hosts Atalanta in the nightcap, another big one after Atalanta hosted Liverpool in the Europa League. Monza, half a goal underdog at home, more juice on Atalanta on the road. Over under is 2.5, juice all the way to over. I think Monza are in a great position to take advantage of potentially weary Atalanta, but they are significantly inferior. So that's something you got to consider. Lean to Monza and under 2.5. On Monday, Roma hosts Bologna. Currently, Roma a quarter goal favorite at home. All the juice on Bologna on the road. Over under is 2. Juice all the way to over. And I'm interested in Bologna getting a quarter of goal, also an under 2. They play really low scoring matches. I think Roma have been doing some of that as well. So that's my interest there. And then the last match is the Derby d'Italia. No, that's actually, I think that's Inter and Juventus, but the Milan Derby, to say the least. We got something about light or something like that. Anyway, Milan, a half a goal underdog at home with more of the crowd. With all the juice, over unders 2 3/4, juice to over. Milan coming off Roma in Europa League, where Inter Milan have not been playing. Great position for Inter to be in, and they're a much better side. Fighting the crowd's going to be interesting, but I think Inter is probably still a better team here. Maybe we see a low scoring match. I think that's probably the best or my biggest interest. So I'll throw Milan, that AC version. I guess it doesn't matter because it's a shared stadium, but I'll go under 2 3/4 in that one. And my best bet, I'm going to go with that Bologna under 2 goals. I just feel like they're in a great position to catch Roma in a potentially weary position after their Europa League challenge with Milan in the league. We'll go next to the French League. I'll start with Nice hosting Lorient on Friday. We got Nice a 1 goal favorite at home, or juice on Lorient on the road. Over unders 2.5. Juice is split both ways. Not sure where that total is going to go, but Nice are a great defensive side that don't score a lot of goals. Lorient are not a great defensive side, not a great offensive side, but they're going to fight because they're fighting relegation. I think my biggest interest here is a low-scoring match, and getting that full goal of insurance is a pretty big deal on Lorient. So I like under 1. I like 1 and under 2.5. Moving to Saturday, we have Nantes hosting Rennes. Currently, Nantes a quarter goal underdog at home with all the juice. Over unders 2 1/4. Juice all the way to over, and you got to recognize Antoine Camboré and his return to the helm at Nantes, and they've been playing a lot better. Former Coupe de France champion under him. I like Nantes getting a quarter of a goal at home. I think Rennes are a pretty, I mean, to me, they are vulnerable. At home, where they've been so good for years. Now on the road, I think they especially are. And I like under 2 1/4 there because I just don't really believe in Rennes going on the road and scoring a bunch of goals. They don't seem to be that offense anymore. Lens then hosts Clermont Foot. Lens a 1 1/4 goal favorite. This is a Saturday nightcap in France. Over under is 2 3/4, used almost all the way to under. Clermont are literally scoring goals from penalty kicks, and that's about it. Major downgrade in their offense or likelihood of getting a penalty away from home. So give me, not really sure I want the side, even though I do like getting more than a goal from a Lens side that is more defensive, I think, than offensive. More offensive probably this season because their defense hasn't been as good. But my biggest interest there is under 2 3/4. Moving to Sunday, we have Reims hosting Montpellier in the early one. We got Reims a half a goal favorite at home with all the juice on Montpellier on the road. Over unders 2 3/4. Juice more to over. Two teams that probably are more focused on playing offensively, which makes it hard for me to want to get involved. I think the only real interest I have is Montpellier getting that half of a goal on the road. Looks like that might fall to a quarter before this kicks off based on how Montpellier have been playing, I think, and then really how Reims have struggled through the second half of this season, basically once the calendar hit 2024. Don't think there's a lot for me in that one. Le Havre then hosts Metz in a big battle at the bottom of promoted clubs. Le Havre, a quarter goal favorite at home with more juice. Over unders 2 1/4. Juice very heavily to under. And this is Le Havre's probably biggest chance to stay in the league. Get one of the worst teams at home, and they've been really struggling, haven't won in forever. We're favored to Nantes last weekend, lost at the buzzer, basically, or in extra time, stoppage time. I think this is a really bad situation for Le Havre. They just can't score goals. So give me Metz, a quarter of a goal underdog, but I'm more interested in under 2 1/4 and want to make sure I don't lose that based on a line move. Lille then hosts Strasbourg, coming off their disappointing elimination in the Europa Conference League. Extra time penalty shootout. Lille, a 1 goal favorite at home. All the juice on Strasbourg on the road. Over unders 2.5. Juice more to under than to over. Strasbourg, I don't trust. I don't like them, but I do like the situation that they're in, catching a very weary Lille, getting a full goal of insurance on the road. I think under 2.5 is more interesting, though, to me. Stade Brestois then hosts Monaco off of an incredible 90 plus 16 penalty kick loss. After a 3-1 lead, lost 4-3. Brutal, probably one of my worst losses of the week. Can't even think about the whole season, but Brest are a pick'em at home to Monaco. More juice on Monaco on the road, and it looks like Monaco might even close a favorite. I still believe in Brest. They've been great outperformers of expectations in a Champions League position. This is a big test for them. But if they move to an underdog at home with the chance to draw and win some money as opposed to a pick 'em, which we currently see that we return all funds both directions, that's what I'll be waiting for. Over under here is 2 3/4. Juice more to under. I think Brest get the game they want, and they want to keep this low scoring. It's just tough to see or to really play an under with Monaco, especially one below 3, because they're going to try to outscore everyone. That's basically their MO. I guess I'm still interested, but we'll see. Next, we'll go to Toulouse hosting Marseille. Currently, Toulouse at Pick'em. More juice on Marseille on the road. Over is 2.5. Juice more to the under. Toulouse in a great position, catching Marseille off of their Europa League second leg with Benfica. I'll be waiting for Toulouse to hit a quarter of a goal underdog. Don't see that yet. Might just close Pick'em, unfortunately. And I don't really know if I want to play an under with Marseille because I don't really trust them, and Toulouse can find goals. So my biggest interest there is in Toulouse at home, hopefully to get some line movement in my direction. Please bet the big club of Liga market. And last but not least, PSG host Lyon. This is not the Olympique. It's not the Classique. It's some other form, and also a preview of the Coupe de France coming up pretty soon. PSG 1 1/4 goal favorite at home. Almost all the juice on Lyon on the road. Over under is 3 1/4. Juice more to the under than to the over. PSG celebrating off of their come from behind victory over Barcelona in the Champions League. We'll see what that looks like. I mean, I think there's a good chance that Kylian Mbappe does not start this match. Pretty much how it's gone. They're literally just using him for Champions League, or using him as little as possible in Lyon or in Liga. I think Lyon will take advantage of that. Lyon's been scoring a bunch of goals. That incredible comeback victory against Brest was huge, but also I think cautionary. Plus, they had a huge comeback the week before against Nantes in an empty stadium as well. So that's a big deal. I think Lyon are probably the side I want here, and I like under 3 1/4 because I think it's. Actually, I think I like Lyon getting that 1 1/4 more than I like the under 3 1/4 because there tend to be high scoring matches. But of course, I guess if Kylian Mbappe is not in there, so with some speculation, I'll go under 3 1/4 as a possibility there. For my best bet in France, I'm going to go with that Strasbourg under 2.5 goals. I think it's a really good position to take against Lille off of a pretty heartbreaking loss, to say the least. Emi Martinez, the king of France. And we'll move to Germany in the Bundesliga for the last league match or league to go through, and then get out of here. And the probably the quickest betting the pitch European soccer edition ever recorded on a Friday morning. But Eintracht Frankfurt on Friday hosts Football Club Augsburg. Currently, Frankfurt a half a goal favorite at home. All the juice on Augsburg on the road. Over under is 2 3/4. Juice all the way to over. Frankfurt have been really struggling defensively. Their offense has not been as good. It's a pretty good, I think, ticket or reason to go against them. Very interested in Augsburg getting that half of a goal. It's very juicy at the moment, so we might see a quarter of a goal by the time this kicks off. I don't think that would scare me away. Lean to under 2 3/4 as well, but Augsburg don't keep clean sheets, so it's probably one of those where I just play the side. Moving to Saturday, Wolfsburg hosts Bochum in a big battle at the bottom of the table. Wolfsburg, who were not expected to be in this situation, literally just can't win matches, but they're a 3/4 goal favorite at home. So I'm pretty interested in Bochum, though they certainly have trended the wrong direction and fired their manager, brought in their normal caretaker, and took a big loss or big draw at home last weekend as a favorite. So lean to under the underdog, 3/4 of the goal. Also like under 2 3/4, which is very juiced to over. We'll be waiting to see this hit 3. FC Köln then hosts SV Darmstadt. Currently Cologne a 1 goal favorite at home with all the juice. Over unders 2 3/4, juice all the way to over. Crazy scenario seeing Cologne a 1 goal favorite. Yes, Darmstadt have been disastrous and continue to make incredibly bad back passes from their central defenders, who they keep rotating. Like literally, you make a bad pass, we rip you off, you don't start the next match, and then some other guy comes in and leaves a pass short. It's really incredible, but it happens over and over again. I guess I can't ignore it anymore. But it's a huge price getting a full goal of insurance from Cologne, who just can't score goals. Yes, they're going to be all out going for it. The crowd's going to be into it. But from what most German Bundesliga players say, it's not that intimidating of an environment. So Darmstadt, this could be their one last stand. I'm sure they want to take Cologne down with them. So I'll take that +1, especially getting odds right now. I might even see 1 1/4 before this kicks off. And I like under 2 3/4, but waiting for 3 there as well. TSG Hoffenheim then hosts Borussia Mönchengladbach. Currently Hoffenheim a quarter goal favorite at home with all the juice. Over under 3 1/4, juice almost all the way to over. Hoffenheim have been trying really hard to increase their crowd support at home and to try to turn their form because they've been great away from home, getting a ton of points there, but really bad at home. That's kind of trickled off. I don't think Hoffenheim are very good, but Gladbach have been really bad away from home. I think ended their streak of 11 straight matches without a win. Last time out, big comeback victory on the road at Wolfsburg, who have been really struggling, as I've said. Quarter of a goal feels like it's a little low for me, but that also takes into consideration a home field advantage for Hoffenheim that I don't think exists. We might see more Gladbach fans there, probably will, bigger club. So give me that quarter of a goal, and I guess I lean to under 3 1/4 as well, though I'm not feeling great about unders with either of those two defenses, especially Gladbach's on the road. FC Heidenheim then hosts RB Leipzig. Currently Heidenheim a 1 1/4 goal underdog at home. More juice on Leipzig on the road. Over under is 3 1/4. Juice is split both ways. So I'm interested in the home underdog here. Heidenheim, they have been I mean, they're pretty much safe in the Bundesliga. Incredible season for them, as they were probably most likely to go down, smallest club in terms of finances in the Bundesliga, but got a great manager and have played really well, have used some players that are moving on into the season. So we'll see about next year. Leipzig have been playing a lot better lately, especially kind of putting their road demons back in the closet or under the bed, however that term should go. I still feel like they're too big of a favorite. They've been getting some big wins, and they're really good at counterattacking. Heidenheim are not exactly the sit at home and defend type of side. So that does leave them open to the counterattack, but that's still Leipzig have to win by 2 goals to take your full bet. So, and a single goal victory is enough for Heidenheim right now to claim half a unit. So I like that 1 1/4, and I guess I like under 3 1/4 as well. I just don't really still trust the Leipzig offense, even though Luis Openda has been awesome, and Daniel Olmo starting to show up as well. In the Topspiel Saturday evening in Germany, we have Union Berlin hosting Bayern München, coming off their elimination of Arsenal in the Champions League. Union, a 1 goal underdog at home with all the juice. I'm going to be watching that to make sure I don't lose it. Still love Union and their style at home. They're going to play very defensively, and they get results there. It's a really tough place to play. Lean to under 3 as well, because that's very correlated. And I think Bayern München, there's a good chance that they don't play very well off of Champions League celebrations. And that's really where their season is going to hinge, even though their manager's already out of the way, starting, I guess, as soon as the season ends. Moving to Sunday, Werder Bremen hosts VfB Stuttgart. Currently Werder Bremen, a 1 goal underdog at home with more of the juice. Over is 3 1/4, juice almost all the way to under. So Werder Bremen, they had really tough scenario going to Bayer Leverkusen when they could clinch their first Bundesliga title, Meisterschale, in I think the club's history. They got smoked, but there are some pretty unexpected goals from outside the box. The 3%er from Granit Xhaka, probably less from Florian Wirtz. And Werder Bremen were basically playing out of position with a bunch of their players due to suspensions. So I wasn't able to lay off. I'm glad I didn't play their 2 goal underdog, but I did play under 3.5. So that lost, I think 5-0 final. Not my favorite, but felt like I was in the game. And if maybe those 2 big goals don't go in, that were really unlikely. And then there was also an offside goal that probably should have been chalked off, in my humble opinion. But I think Werder Bremen bounced back, especially at home. They're going to have a really tough scenario for Stuttgart coming in, who were blazing Frankfurt in the first half last week. We're up 3-0, but didn't score again. I think this is a good position for Werder Bremen to come in, get their defense fully healthy. They don't really have a lot to play for at this point. Stuttgart are fighting for second place. Really, the Champions League, I think, is almost secured at this point. I'm interested in Werder Bremen at home, as home underdog, getting a full goal of insurance and to under 3 1/4. But both those certainly are hold your nose scary type of events. Borussia Dortmund then hosts Bayer Leverkusen. Dortmund a pick'em -110, but split juice both ways. Over under is 3 1/4, juice very heavily to under. Both had European commitments midweek. Leverkusen had a trip to West Ham. Borussia Dortmund were at home and triumphed over Atletico Madrid. I think Dortmund, we've seen their defenses just always has big issues. Own goal from Mats Hummels, 2 goals that were given away in the first leg at Atletico Madrid in Madrid. But they have, I think, been a better defense than we've seen from them in the past. I don't know exactly if that's something that will continue, but Emre Can I think permanently playing instead of center back, playing a central defensive midfielder role and trying to play in that hole to protect the defense has been helpful. Leverkusen have been playing so well, and it's weird to see Borussia Dortmund a pick 'em at home against anybody besides Bayern Munchen. But I guess that's what happens when Meisterschale is already like secured and Leverkusen have been playing so well this season. I think I'm interested in the home underdog and the Schwarzgelben and the yellow wall. We'll wait to see what happens. I think if I catch them as an underdog plus 1/4, I will play it. But I don't think we have that yet, and I don't think we'll really end up seeing it. My biggest interest here, I think, is under 3 1/4 for that one. Excuse me as I yawn. It's not the late night with the real underscore G Warner, but I guess the yawns are back. Last but not least, Sports Club Freiburg hosts one FC Mainz 05. Currently Freiburg a pick 'em with 2 cents more juice, minus 111 at Bet Online. If you're not a member of Bet Online, SportsBetting.ag, there are links in the podcast description on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. So please follow those links. Go make a first time deposit. You get 50% at both of them. 100% actually at SportsBetting.ag up to $500. So go put $500 in. They will give you $500 in cash. So I think that's worth it. Over under here is 2 3/4. Choose more to the under than to the over. I really want to back Mainz here. They've been playing very well. It's going to be tough going against Freiburg in their home, where they play very well, and in one of the last matches of Christian Streich, their manager, beloved manager, longest tenured manager in the Bundesliga. But Mainz have been playing really well. I think seeing them a pick 'em on the road at Freiburg is saying something, and it probably will not get to that quarter I'm looking for. But I do wonder about Mainz and their ability to score goals. They've been doing it very well lately, but I feel like it's more of a pressure or an intensity thing, and Freiburg should be pretty intense. I think Mainz will suffer from that a little bit away from home. So give me under 2 3/4, a little bit more juice there on the under than the over, but not too much. I think that's probably my biggest interest in the Sunday last match. I don't think they call it the top spiel on Sunday, but I think that's just reserved for Saturday. Anyway, mine's null thump. I'll go under 2 3/4 on that one. And then for my best bet in Germany, I'm going to go with Union Berlin under 3 goals, as I think that's probably where I want to be, fading Bayern Munchen if possible. Excuse my moving away from the camera as it's time to get my phone ready for the ultimate best bet portion of the show, where I pick my favorite best bet from across the 5 European soccer leagues, and then I put it on Instagram and on YouTube. Instagram at the real underscore G Warner, YouTube at the real underscore G Warner. Throw that on there, cut it into a reel so you can digest this whole episode, 40 or so minutes today, which is like a record for speed. Versus a 1-minute video across the social media platforms, perfect for the younger generation and their I guess interest in time. If you're not a member of my Patreon, check it out, patreon.com/real_G Warner. If you haven't left a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify, please do that. Subscribe to the YouTube channel at the real_G Warner. My mom's getting lonely on there, just kidding, but I think I just got her to sign up yesterday, so we're off to a great start. Besides that, stay tuned for more pregame.com podcasts. We had a baseball podcast last night with Munaf Manji that will be out, or should be, it's out already. So that would be covering the Friday baseball card. We'll be doing the Tuesday night reporting with the baseball edition on the Betting the Pitch with at A Brooks Bets. I'll cover the entire Wednesday slate. That should be out again next week. One our best bets there. And then still waiting for a college basketball sum up the season that Big East Ben, but I think he's probably still celebrating his 11-0 NCAA tournament run. So I guess we'll get there eventually, but thank you all for the support. And if you could leave a 5-star review or leave a comment, I will have one of my co-hosts read it, unless it's soccer related, and then I will cover it as well. So I think it's probably time for the ultimate best bet. So let's get into it. This is the real underscore G Warner. This is Betting the Pitch, the European soccer edition, covering the top 5 European soccer leagues, taking one favorite bet from each of the leagues and putting out there for an ultimate best bet on Instagram at the real underscore G Warner and YouTube at the real underscore G Warner for those that want to digest this content in only 1 minute. From the English Premier League, I like Nottingham Forest under 2.5 goals. In La Liga in Spain, I like Barcelona under 3. In Ligue 1 in France, I like Strasbourg under 2.5 goals. In the Bundesliga in Germany, I like Union Berlin under 3 goals. And in Serie A in Italy, I like Bologna under 2. So a lot of low scoring matches sets us up. It seems like these European matches, soccer matches, go one way each weekend, either a lot of goals or few. We're hoping for few based on those best bets. But for the ultimate best bet, before you do that, follow me on Patreon, patreon.com/real_G Warner. Best spot to get all my plays, leans, write-ups across all sports, but especially baseball and soccer right now. For my best bet on this episode, I'm going to go with El Clasico, Barcelona under 3 goals. I think both teams coming off Champions League. It's going to be a low XG event. That'll do it for this episode. Thanks for tuning in to a very brief version. Got in here, got out of here under 35 minutes. We'll talk to you all very soon, all weekend. Of course, look out for everything on pregame, but also subscribe to my YouTube channel, my podcasts, Betting the Pitch across Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And check out patreon.com/real_G Warner. Best spot to get everything I'm doing, my leans each night, and the winners I'm putting out, plus when I lock them in, so you make sure you get the same best price you can the same time I'm doing it. Talk to you all very soon. Thanks so much. And I guess I'll talk to you on Sunday night with the next baseball podcast through pregame.